Today, I want to talk about opposition. Opposition. It means a lot of things. There's yin yang, right? There's positive, negative, flow one way, flow the other way. In politics, there's the loyal opposition and the royal opposition and the opposition party. It's interesting in Canada. There's an official opposition. There's the party in power, and then the others are opposition parties. And there's usually a specific opposition party, which is probably the second most. In the U.S., it's kind of a mess because there's only a two-party system. There's some tiny parties, but they don't really amount to much. And I kind of like the Canadian and English system a bit better because I don't know, it seems more balanced. What's going on in the U.S. right now seems whack to me. I don't know. It may seem okay to you, but it seems crazy. We've got people that are so hell bent on just, I don't know, wrecking everything, right? So anyway, today I want to talk about opposition. What is opposition? I'm checking the levels on this microphone. And it should be about there. Okay, anyway, opposition. But what we're talking about isn't politics, and what we're talking about isn't yin and yang. What we're talking about is the feeling that there is, we did an episode on resistance, where there is the natural force against us completing our purpose. I had a beautiful chance yesterday to teach a class on energy, and it was fun. I hadn't done it for a little while. It's one I've taught before, but it was a master class, and by that I mean I didn't start at the beginning. I started, like in university at 401 level and talked about energy, physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, and most of all, spiritual energy, because spiritual energy actually can transfer to all the other kinds of energy. And that's true because think of a time when you've been completely physically exhausted and all of a sudden something happens. It can be something fearful, where you're afraid for your life, or it can be something that excites you, or it can be something that motivates you, something where suddenly you get an idea or an externality happens and you're just all in and everything just disappears. In that moment, all that negativity and all that stuff you were worried about just vanishes away. You have infinite energy, right? So that's happened to you before, and you know what that's like, and it's the transference of some either emotional or spiritual energy into physical energy. Opposition can also come from those who are close to us. Opposition can come from those who don't understand you. Opposition can come and does come from those who say, why don't you just get a job? What are you thinking about doing what you do? Being an entrepreneur or being a coach or trying to make a living online or whatever, right? That kind of opposition you're probably familiar with. So opposition shows up all the time, and it's going to show up for you as you try to create your ultimate life of purpose, prosperity, and joy by serving with your divine gifts. And here's the interesting thing. If it were easy, everybody would just do it. There would be a lineup at the store, and you'd buy all the required unopposition things, and you just rip to the finish line. But it doesn't, it's obvious life isn't built like that. We are meant to have opposition. We are meant to have people, circumstances, places, health challenges, and everything that are the opposition. And sometimes it shows up in the form of people, and sometimes it shows up in the form of stuff that happens. I'll give you a couple of examples for me. I went on Thursday and got autohemotherapy, which is a blood ozone thing. And they take some blood out and put ozone in it, put it back in you. And I haven't done that for a couple of years. I had done it several times after my fatal illness in 2018 because it's really good at clearing out bugs out of your system. So I did it again I did it twice. One was a single dose and one was a double whammy, single on Tuesday, double whammy on Thursday. And so Friday I was sick. Woo-hoo! And it happens sometimes. I forgot the name of it, Hexheimer's or Halt's something. There's a symptom set. And it generally comes from, it feels kind of like the flu, but it's generally thought, at least, to come from the dead bugs in your system, right? Dead bacteria, viruses, and so forth. And I was really hit with it Friday night. I felt awful. And so I was worried because I was supposed to teach this class on Saturday at noon. And I did the work that I do with energy, meditation, and spiritual energy, and transmuted all of that to full physical power. I got up Saturday morning on fire. I did all my morning preparation, and we had a great 3-hour class. It was funny because an hour and a half after the class was over, I was a little bit sick again, a lot bit. Not as bad as Friday night, but still came back, and I thought, how interesting transmuting that negative, that opposition into high-powered performance energy for the time. And I talked to the folks in the class about that, but it was an interesting object lesson or demonstration for me of, well, number one, the truth of eliminating opposition, of having something that you're focused on eliminate all opposition, because power is transferred from the spiritual promise, the commitment I made to be there for those folks. And so that commitment overrode everything and eliminated all the stuff that was going on the night before. And then when that was over, a couple of hours, I got cold again. I took my temperature and I had a fever again, and it wasn't as high as Friday night, but I had it again. But for those 7 hours on Saturday, from when I got up to the class was over, plus an hour, I was on fire. And I don't mean with a fever. I was on fire with purpose and focused on what I had promised to deliver. So I want to share with you some thoughts about opposition, because this road to 50 million is about helping you discover and serve with your gifts. Now, most folks that I meet want to be of help. They say, oh, I love helping people. Well, we're built that way. So that's not weird. I love helping people too. And most of you that are listening to this, you love helping people. I know that. And isn't that wonderful? We are built to love and serve each other. The question comes, I don't either. I don't know what my gifts are. And that's less complicated than you think. You just start doing stuff. You choose to be of service, and you'll find the things that you like. 4 steps we've gone over before. Ask people who know you. Look at what you really like to do, things you enjoy doing. Look to your adversity, stuff that has refined you in special ways that no one else has, and then ask your creator. However you communicate with the divine, the universe, or God, take advantage of that. One of the things we talked about in our energetic class yesterday, or class around energy, was about where energy comes from. Well, everyone knows there is infinite energy in the universe, even physical energy, because we now know that even in the complete vacuum of empty space, there's energy. Sometimes they call it the 0-point energy field. You know, it used to be thought that at absolute zero, there was no molecular motion at all, and there was no energy, and that's not true. There is a 0-point field. Particles pop in and out of existence even at that point. So the infinitude of space, empty vacuum space, has energy. So we know there's an infinite amount. The only question about overcoming opposition is tapping into your sources of energy. Now, I want you to think right now, what is the opposition you have? Because like I said, serving with your gifts and talents is your natural inclination. It's who you are. It's who you were built to do, it's who you were built to be. We all were, and each of us were given gifts. So then the only question is finding the gifts and how to serve with them. Now, many of us, including me, we need to create a business doing that. And often people think of business as kind of a dirty word that means something bad because we're exchanging money for stuff. And it's not bad or dirty at all. Business has been from the very beginning, when 2 farmers grew different things and they traded crops. Business started the first moment someone grew sheep and someone grew vegetables, right? So that kind of business, trading one thing for another, is all that we've ever done. Today, we have more variety, and since we can't trade directly with farmers because we live in cities, we invented intermediate methods. Money, and it used to be tokens, and then it was paper, and then now it's electrons and debit cards, and heck, I haven't seen any cash in, I don't even think, a couple of years. So Creating a business out of your service is natural, it is normal, and it is not even difficult. The difficulty comes up here when we think somehow that it's hard. All you're doing when you create a business out of your talent is organizing the delivery of service that you provide, organizing the way you deliver it so that people can come get it. Like you go to the grocery store and you know that bread's there. So you go there and it's organized so that there's bread on the shelf and you get it and you go up the front and buy it. If you figure out what your gift is, whether it's listening, loving, crocheting, making things, collecting and sorting antiques. My wife's a fabulous antiques dealer and has done that on eBay for decades, literally decades, 30 years by now, in antiques and collectibles. And the service that she provides is finding them, cleaning them, and then making them available on the eBay platform for others who want them. So your ability to create a business out of your gift and talent is not difficult. And the opposition that you feel to that is imaginary. Okay? I don't know how, I can't, nobody will buy it. Well, what if everybody that grew radishes said that, or raspberries or corn? Nobody will buy my corn. That's just silly. Of course, someone will want it and need it. So when you feel this opposition, your choice is to give in or ignore it. And that includes friends, family, well-meaning people who are opposed to you being an entrepreneur, opposed to trying to sell or monetize or monetize. I know that's not a word, but your gift or talent. Why is that crazy? We've been doing it forever and we'll continue to do it forever. So I want to encourage you not to shy away at all from creating value with your gifts and talents, and then organizing that value delivery in such a way that you can make business, make money. Now, whether that's your only business or you make enough to live on, that's a different question. But the idea that you can just get over the nonsense about how hard it is or whatever to turn your passion, even your hobby, into a business is just not true. It's just not true. And you can live in that myth as long as you want. And then with the idea of, oh, I just wish I could, and I see so many people, not necessary. My road to 50 million is to help you. I have walked the road. The class I taught on energy yesterday, I have a client. I talk to her occasionally. She's not an active client, but she's been a client before. And she sent out a message to me one day, just early in the week, Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, and said, do you have a book on energy? Because we were talking about having energy. And I said, no, I have thought about writing one, but I haven't. And I have a course that's partly done, but I have taught a master class on how to have endless energy. And I can do that if you like. And so I laid out the way I would do it and how much it would cost and how many people I needed as a minimum to do it. And then she went and found the class. She went and found the people and filled it up. And so I was able to deliver value. But she knew that I did that. She knew I had that corn in my reserve. And so she called me and said, do you have this corn? And I said, yes, I have that corn. Oh, well, can I pick it up Saturday? Yes, you can pick it up Saturday. So that's as simple as it was. And we organized a value exchange. And she brought several people to the corn swap, the class, the master class. And it was that simple. So you can do that. Now, if you want to know how to do that, I'm happy to help you. You can find out some other way if you want to. I'm not saying I'm the only person. What I am saying is my road to 50 million is helping 50 million people to discover their divine gifts and then make a choice to serve with those gifts, and including making business if you want to. And I suggest that you strongly consider it. For several reasons. One, it makes you be rigorous and organized about what you provide. And two, it helps people express appreciation because you allow them to pay for it. Business and money is not complicated. We've turned it into some warped religion, and it doesn't need to be. It is the natural exchange of goods and services. Now, one of the things that contaminates this whole process is the idea I'm not good enough. nobody will read my book, buy my stuff, or want anything that I have. Well, that's not true. It certainly is true if you don't go, do it, produce it, and organize it. But you actually have no idea until you produce and organize it. So if you're already serving with your divine gifts and you're already doing that, I want to connect with you and talk. And the reason that I do is because I got lots of platforms, including LA Talk Radio and a television show and a podcast, where we can share your gift with the world. If you're not doing it yet and you want to, I'd love to connect because I help people to discover and serve with their gifts, and that includes turning them into businesses. Or if you want to help me reach my 50 million. Either way, I'd love to reach out and connect with you. I love people anyway, and I'd love to see your eyes and get to know your heart and soul. We'll see you tomorrow on the road to 50 million.